Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is, whether you're in the world, it is your Lore Saviour, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different to the usual shit that I waffle about. Not a TTRPG issue, not a bit of GM advice, not a book review, not a lore dive. I just wanted to show you my little friend, a little mummified tower dice thing that I got from a seller on eBay who 3D printed it. Why am I doing this? Well, as I said, I want to do something that was a little different, you know, trying to branch out from the shit that I usually do. And because really, this is my channel and I'll do whatever the fuck I want with it, and I wanted to show off and talk about this a little more. But there is a much grander reason for this, one that's a bit traumatic, to me at least. Here's a bit of lore by night lore for you. When I was a toddler, that's like 3-4 years old, maybe a bit older, I don't think so, but whatever, I'm waffling. My late father forced me to play Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on the PlayStation 1, which you shouldn't really be getting a toddler to play, and that has done a significant amount of damage to the fact that it's traumatized me and given me a phobia known as phobia, which is an actual thing. It's the fear of zombies and the fear of becoming zombies, and I have a much larger upcoming video about how this exactly affects me. But to shorten the story down a little bit, I've been quite fed up of him having this like foothold over me, and I wanted to combat it for a while, and I decided late last year and this year as well that I was going to fight against this. I was not only going to overcome it, but I was actually going to do my absolute best to enjoy zombie media, and I've enjoyed a lot of zombie films lately. I've been reading and collecting some zombie TTRPGs, some of which I'm going to be running solo on the channel, some of which I'm going to be running for you chucklefucks in the near future. That is if you want to, of course, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I'm very slowly working my way through zombie video games, starting with Telltale's The Walking Dead. As of the recording of this, the 30th of July 2025, I'm just about to start the third season, which is the most controversial, and I know bits about that already, and I'm not really looking forward to it, especially with how my playthrough of Season 2 ended, where I killed both Jane and Kenny, which is probably going to annoy some of you, but whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, spoilers, I guess. And soon, in case you haven't noticed, I'm actually going to be reading the Walking Dead comic soon. I haven't watched the TV show, and I have the Walking Dead's TTRPG, and part of that is I feel in order to probably appreciate the TTRPG, I need to go to the source material and Telltale's The Walking Dead, and I don't have the patience for a TV show that most people stopped watching by the time we got to Season 7 out of 11. And my little tower dice friend here is sitting on top of the Compendium 4. The other 3 are sat up there that I've just unboxed actually, and you're going to be seeing a review of that soon, alongside a huge review talking about each of these 4 different compendiums. But what do I have the dice tower for? I don't collect these, I don't usually use them, but thinking about the solo actual play stuff for a moment, I wanted to try and make this upcoming season, which I'm calling Mission ZOMBOTCH, which you may recall I mentioned in a previous video talking about putting zombies into the world of darkness, which is going to appear up there now for you to go and watch after this video. I'm wanting to do a load of solo play zombie stuff, and as I said, running stuff for you as well, to really force myself to get engaged with zombie media and games and etc and so forth. I've just told you about all of that. And with the solo play stuff, I wanted to make things a little different, so I'm working on an entirely new soundtrack for it, and I wanted to get like a dice cam sort of thing, just to show the dice being rolled, and having something that was like zombie-esque I thought was like a really cool idea. I've actually got a body camera of all fucking things, because I'm going to sacrificing the quality a little bit just for the length of the battery, because I do these much longer than what most solo actual play stuff goes on for. So that was important to me, so you're going to get a slightly worse camera quality for the awesome dice rolling shit. I have sound effects, I have ambiances, and I said I'm going to be putting myself directly into these games, playing as myself. But as I said, I've got a video coming up that's going to be exploring that in a lot more detail. And I was looking online for all these different like dice houses to see if somebody must have made a zombie one. There was like a skull one with like a dropped jaw that I kept seeing a lot in different colours and schemes and whatnot, but I didn't want that. I wanted something that was more zombie-like. So I then found this on eBay that one person was selling. As I said, it's 3D printed, like if you look closely. I do not know how well that's all going to show up rather. Like the little lines where the little... I don't know how 3D printing works, but I have seen it happen more than once, like the little stylus thing that goes backward and forward, like builds the thing up. but you can just sort of see that if you have a good close look of it. So the way that it works is that you drop the dice in its head, it goes down there, it hits the teeth a little bit. Sometimes the dice can go flying at 100 miles per hour and I break the sound barrier, so I've actually had to buy a whole new dice tray for it, which is actually going to appear up there now for you to go and gawk at. I didn't think it was necessary bringing it down for this video. Yeah, I wasn't too sure whether to get this, because even though it was the most zombie-like of all the dice towers that I was looking for, it's not really a zombie, it's a fucking mummy. But the more that I was looking at it, and obviously I had to put like a supernatural, like, goth twist on it somehow. And mummies are like they are because they're cursed. You know, their spirit hasn't passed on to the afterlife, or whatever the Egyptian equivalent of that is. And I had this, like, idea, like, this is like a symbolic thing of me breaking my chymortophobia, my zombie phobia curse. That's what made me decide to get it in the end, which I thought was a kind of nice bit of symbolism. As I said, I have to like gothicize everything, if that's even a phrase, but it is now. Sorry. So that's what's going to be happening here, and I had a range of different colours. I didn't like any of them, so I just went with grey because that just worked best here, and I just find the others would be a bit too distracting. And grey, death, morality, and all that rest of that shit. And of course, I've named it Nemesis, after that certain zombie of that certain video game that scared the fucking daylights out of me as a toddler. So I'm sort of making this into a whole fucking Batman arc, I guess. Like, Batman becomes the Batman because he becomes what he fears the most. Then he'll become Zombie Man, and like... Although some of you online insist that I've become that already. But regardless, I'm really excited to get started with this, like, putting as much care and attention into this little project, series, mission, whatever, just to do the absolute best I can, just to do my best to get over it. And I've still got loads of ways to go, because I feel more comfortable within the realms of horror, watching zombie horror. Sometimes I do get like that unique sickness in my gut that I get with chymortophobia, because it's not like running out the room screaming your eyeballs out because there's a zombie about sort of thing, or how some people act when they're spiders or rats, which could be a reaction to phobias, but that's not, I feel, a great representation of phobias across the board. But I'm just waffling away here as per usual and on brand. Now hopefully with this TTRPG project that I'll be starting soon, the comics that I'm reading, the video game that I'm playing, other films that I'll be watching, and hopefully sometime in the future I can take on the original Resident Evil 3 as like the final boss of this project when I'm ready for it. There's a couple of things I want to do. I was going to do a let's play actually of Telltale's The Walking Dead, but that became a chore because of how huge the games are and the different parts of them, and also the more technical. I kept getting really weird audio issues with all of them that I've never got with anything before, so I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to play it and do a fat review of it. So I want to do like some let's plays of other zombie stuff, because let's face it, who doesn't like having a giggle like a content creator screaming their tits off? I want to do Zombie or Zombie U. I know it was the Wii U game that imported to everywhere else in whatever the PS4, Xbox One generation is, and PC, most importantly, for this channel at least. I want to do that because I remember seeing that as a kid, and I thought the concept was really interesting with the Wii U. I've never owned a Wii U, but the idea with that was it's set in a post-apocalyptic London where zombies have taken over, and there isn't a pause button as such when you're like searching for items, that you're forced to look down onto the screen with your like backpack and constantly having to look up and down at like the TV screen or whatever you're playing the game, which is a really neat idea, which doesn't translate so well to everything else. But I was intrigued by the concept because even as a wee kid, everything was so Americanized that seeing something in London, which I know really well, fairly well, it's on my fucking doorstep basically, like a 40-minute train journey away. That excited me as a wee kid, but of course, seeing zombies in it just scared the shit out of me, so I wasn't going to go near that fuck. So that's what I want to do at some point. But this main focus is going to be on the TTRPG stuff. But of course, as per Lore by Night brand, it starts off with a really fucking simple idea, and it just explodes into a load of other side projects. And Nemesis here has sort of helped me out with all of that. So that's kind of what's happening with Mission ZOMBOTCH. So if any of that sounds really interesting to you, do stick around. I'm really looking forward to trying this stuff out, because I do enjoy the solo play stuff, and I'm excited to tackle my phobia head on. With those nice little headshots or whatever with zombies. Looking forward to reading all the stuff. If you've got any questions or queries about all of this, or you want to see me throw in some more zombie stuff to check out, by all means do give me suggestions in the comments below. I'm going to leave my Letterboxd account down there as well, purely because I review most things that I watch over there, so have a look through there, make sure that there isn't a film that I've already watched. But yeah, I've got nothing more to add at this point, other than, I guess, I'd like to hear what sort of, like, Dungeon Master, like, paraphernalia that you have in your tables. Like, do you play any zombie TTRPGs? Which ones would you recommend? I currently have All Flesh Must Be Eaten, an indie game called AZ, which is After Zombies, After Zombies, the Walking Dead TTRPG that I've mentioned, and I've got Somewhere Over There, which I'm currently reading, the one that Onyx Path did, based on the LARP of the same name, Dystopian Rising. Only the Onyx Path TTRPG equivalent of the LARP has evolution on the end, so Dystopian Rising Evolution. I have another one called Rotworld that I'm only going to be using more as like a generational table sort of thing, because there's some really good resources in there. And I recently acquired Kevin... what's his face? I've completely forgotten his surname, but the guy who does the Without Number series, he recently released one for post-apocalyptic settings called Ashes Without Number, which I'm also going to be using as a generative numbers thing. And of course, we're going to be throwing all of my dice in here with sound effect and Foley and ambiences to make this the best solo experience that hopefully you'll be able to find on YouTube, and if not, it'll be the best zombie TTRPG experience that you'll ever find as well. And I can guarantee you, it'll be one of the few out there that has an originally composed soundtrack. You know, not just to gloat a little bit, but I think that stuff's really important. You know, it just makes me stand out a little bit more. And Nemesis looks hungry, so I'm going to put some dice in his noggin. So let me know all those bits and pieces in the comments down below, and just general support and love, because I really want people to watch this, as I do with all of my stuff, but I feel this one's not going to get a lot of traction, so I'd appreciate all the likes, the subscribing, and the sharing of this video with any and everyone who love what I do. I'll see you on the next upload, whatever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell.